Yo, what's up, peeps? Welcome to season 4, episode 3 of the Nerd Alert podcast. It's me, your host, George J. to the Chico. Your boy is in the house. We are discussing today a little bit of a genre mix up. First up, a little kickback with throwback with Beverly Hills Cop 4, aka Axel F on Netflix. Trigger warning, also on Netflix, starring the gorgeous Jessica Alba. Yeah, I know I've said that plenty of times. I don't care. I don't care. We're also talking horror movies, Long Legs with Nick Cage, A Quiet Place, Day One, as well as Tarot, and of course, some news. So let's fucking get to it. All right, so now we are talking Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, Axel F, to be exact. Um, It is the fourth in the series of the Beverly Hills Cop movies. Again, throughout it's all in regards to Axel Foley, who ends up in some kind of hijinks and ends up in Beverly Hills due to what outside any kind of outside circumstance. In this case, it's a little mixture between his daughter and Billy getting caught up on a case. Takes him back, and all hell breaks loose. It's directed by Mark Malloy. Written by Will Beall, Tom Gorkin, Gavin Eaton, and starring Eddie Murphy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Taylor Page, Kevin Bacon, and a lot of the OG cast. Like so many cameos that it's pretty funny. So immediately off the top of my head, I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I loved it. It was a great addition to the series. The third one was, sucked. First two are greatness. This felt just like it. They somehow managed to capture all the same vibes and energy and chemistry from the original movies. Taggart and Billy show up in here, and again, same. Like that's what I loved about the first two. They were just always had this banter that just seemed felt natural. Eddie had his shit here, man. There, he was fucking funny. Only thing I didn't understand was where's his laugh? I haven't heard his laugh in a while. I don't know in other movies, but it definitely wasn't here. And I know it was a staple of his career and these movies. It was gone. Spoiler, but it was gone. I don't know where it was gone. For being 60-ish, the action wasn't too crazy, but it looked good. I mean, he looked natural. He looked good in the role. He's aging well, what it looks like. But overall, really dug the humor. The action scenes were on par for the series is known for. The cast was phenomenal. I was worried about Joseph Gordon-Levitt being just kind of a throwaway slapstick character. He's not. He's a fucking badass dude. He kicked ass, and damn near every scene he was in. His daughter Taylor Page was awesome as well. I legit thought it could be his kid, and it's not. But they had a great chemistry going on as well. Um, I will say that the film doesn't hide too much as far or isn't too deep or in depth. Like you can pretty much see what's happening right from the get go. Not that it ruins it or sways you from watching it at all. I went back and binged the first one, the movies up until this point, and it just stays up with it. Like the vibe is just there. And sure, it's predictable, but it doesn't make it any worse. It doesn't hinder it at all. Um, you know, it was awesome. It was awesome. Kevin Bacon plays a spoiler alert, corrupt cop, and you see it a mile away, and then you're mixed up with drug cartels and other shit, and there's just so many throwaway Easter eggs to the original movies as well. Some shot for shot scenes that go back to homage the first two movies. Um, didn't really see anything that goes back and homages the third one, rightfully so, right? But all in all, it really worked well. I wish it would have went to theaters. I would have loved to see this on the big screen. And I do feel like at this point, it'd be great to just cap it off and let this be. Many talks have been had about rebooting the series. I know they were going to have a TV show. Um, Hollywood, if you're listening for any reason, you accidentally tuned into my podcast, look at Lamore Morris from New Girl, freaking Winston. He would be the perfect Axel Foley in a reboot. Make it happen, dude. Like it. I don't see how anybody hasn't thought about this yet. He'd be great. Winston Lamorne, if you're watching this, I got your back, bro. Um, anyways, Watch the movie. I give it a strong 4 out of 5. Great watch, man. It's a great watch. It's just a damn shame it didn't go to movies. Netflix, you got some shit coming up. Like, it's when it's good is good, when it's bad is bad. But this was a good one. Stuff. Let's talk trigger warning. No trigger warning for this, just a trigger warning. Um, it is a throwback to the classic cheesy action movies. I'd say of the late '90s, very '90s vibes. Starring the gorgeous, gorgeous Jessica Alba. Uh, Now, I will tell you, the plot's pretty thin. It's nothing too drastic, nothing that you need to really concentrate on, and it is what it is, right? And that's the beauty of this movie. I enjoyed it. It was what I wanted. It was just popcorn, cheeseball fun, and Jessica Alba kicks a major ass. So the synopsis is she's a special forces um, soldier who gets called back home because her father has passed away. During that time, she discovers that her father didn't pass away in the accident, in a manner of an accident that she was believed or told happened. Started to uncovering this whole plot regarding um, the whole murder cover up. Essentially, she lived there for years, so she knows everybody. One of her ex is a sheriff of the town. It looks like it's in Arizona. Um, Their dad is a senator, I believe, or a congressman, one or the other. Either way, some kind of high level official. And then, as the cliche goes, there's always a good kid and there's a bad kid. And he's got this dipshit son, um, who's fucking smuggling guns from the local army base. So it becomes a whole thing. Uh, During the ride, Alba's character in I'm sorry, Parker, um, starts, she's got her best friend from high school too that kind of helps her along. They've got great chemistry, great rapport. That was one of the highlights of the whole movie. But not only that, Jessica Alba is just like her one-liners, her banter, her acting chops have not been lost whatsoever. Her action scenes, followed her on Instagram and I've seen her training, and you can tell she busted her ass trying, training for this. You can tell there's a lot of these stunts that are her, and of course not all of them. There's some definite stunt work there, but overall it was an enjoyable movie. Was it by the book, point for point blueprint cliche? Yes, but I enjoyed it. It was nothing you really had to worry about or concentrate on. Like I said before, the action scenes were great. The acting was where I needed it to be. Didn't go crazy. CGI was sketched. I think that's probably the lowest point of the movie for me. Um, Especially when the bar burns down. But other than that, looked great. It was directed by Mulia Surya. Did a great job directing this movie. Uh, we also had the great Anthony Michael Hall as the aforementioned senator before. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope that Jessica Alba comes back and maybe brings this character into a series. I would thoroughly enjoy to watch more adventures with her. She kicked ass and fucking looked like she enjoyed it. Let's see, who else do we have in this movie? The other standout was her buddy. His name was Spider. Where's Spider? Spider was played by Tony Bell. He was awesome too. I didn't have a lot of scenes, but when he was there, I enjoyed him. Um, and then Mike was her best friend, played by Gabriel Basso. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I recommend watching it. It's just something good to have on and just kind of just relax and check it out. On a scale of 1 to 5, I give it a 3. Again, it's not superb, it's not mind blowing, but it's a lot of fun. And I think, actually, I know you'll enjoy it. I really do. Just take a step back, lower your expectations, enjoy the ride. All right, let's talk long legs. This movie's been hyped for a fucking minute before it ever came out. The trailers look great. It's supposed to be one of the scariest movies that ever came out. Wrong. I don't believe that whatsoever. So spoilers are ahead. So this revolves around a serial killer that's been killing families since the 70s. Flash forward to the 90s, and we've got an FBI agent played by Micah Monroe, um, who's kind of like a Sheldon Cooper with a badge. She's got social issues and whatnot. She gets brought into the picture because she has apparent psychic abilities. FBI is going to utilize her to see if they can finally track down the serial killer. Serial killer basically has been eliminating families with no fingerprints, no evidence whatsoever. They have no clues as to who he might be. Um, but yeah, so they bring her on board because she's a clairvoyant. And right off the bat, she goes on her first. They start picking a town. They're like, all right, just start probing around, see if we find him. They find him like that. Um, so much so that the killer kills the FBI agent. And our killer, spoiler alert, right, is Nick Cage in playing a very Nick Cage role, very eccentric, very just weird and quirky. Like I'd read that it was something out of his own. It wasn't like you could tell it was him, and very familiar to things he's done before. Um, so nothing crazy there. So, anyways, she's brought on board, and then it just like things just start falling into piece. Like evidence starts just showing up. She starts figuring things out left and right. There's a code. She's able to decode it like nothing. Um, but yeah, then as eventually turns out that at the beginning of the movie we're introduced to this girl that takes a picture, or I'm sorry, that has a run-in with long legs, and you assume it's her, and then it's confirmed that it's her. When she was little, she interacted with him. Um, so that's why she's. And then actually, it's just still coincidence that she's brought into the case. See, there goes more of that issue. Um, she could have been one of the potential victims. He lets her go for some reason, which we'll find out later. But yeah, she ends up catching him. They get him. They interview him. He is a Satanist. He's convinced these families to kill themselves. He had nothing directly to do with it. He's all doing it for the devil because he made a deal with the devil. And then we find out they had an accomplice. Micah has a very estranged relationship with her mother, played by Alicia Witt, who I've had a crush on since Go. If you know what I'm talking about, props to you. That was a fantastic movie. Go back and check it out. She seems off, and I picked up on a clue about her whenever Micah goes home to visit her. She's watching TV. She's supposed to be this very religious woman. And then you find out she's not. She's watching some like biblical programming on the television. You think it's like a Christian programming until you see signs of the devil going up in the guy's hands. If you got to really watch that, otherwise you'll miss it. Um, there's also other moments throughout the movie where you'll see a demon figure shatter through the devil. That's the devil. I did catch it once or twice. Not startling, but just noticeable. Uh, turns out the mom, whenever she was little, ran out and intervened and met Long Legs. Long Legs was going to basically take her soul and kill her. He replaces their soul inside of an orb, but it's also mixed with some of his soul, so he's a part of it. It's weird because once he does that and makes that affiliation, so he takes these porcelain dolls, delivers them to these families. They look just like the daughters or the child. The family kills themselves, and then there's one case where that's another loophole. Where one of them is left alone. The girl's catatonic. She's in the hospital. They find the doll. They break the orb, so her soul's released. The girl's not catatonic anymore, but she's completely enveloped by the devil, and she's like crazy. And she goes off and kills herself. But yeah, there's these satanic ritual parts that make sense, but they don't make sense. The mom basically makes a deal with Long Legs and the devil to spare her soul. She'll go out and kill these families. Sorta. She's the one that delivers the dolls, but has to be there to witness the murders in order for it to be validated. Um, yeah. Nick Cage's character kills himself in his interview, says "Hail Satan" in a quirky way. The mom has like one or two more families to kill. One and happens to be the FBI agent, her partners, not her senior officer, his family. They drop off the doll. The showdown is Micah going to save the family, kills her mom, but it's too late. The family's already possessed. The daughter's already possessed. She shoots the orb and spares the daughter, I think, but doesn't. Like, she's still kind of catatonic, and I was under the impression it would release her, but it didn't. So that's how it ends, and that's very unsatisfying because you're still left with so many questions. Overall, the movie just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. The scares were minimal. It was disturbing in parts because it made you feel uneasy. But there were so many questions and so many just plot holes I feel were left there. Visually looked great. Cinematography looked great. The acting was awesome. But the story itself was weak to me. Could have been so much better. Ending I feel like could have been better. I still say watch it. I don't think you need to go to the theater to check it out. Watch it at home once it's released on VOD. Yeah, man, it's just. I mean, it was all right. It was all right. I give it a 3 out of 5. I love me some horror movies, and one of my favorite franchises to date in recent years is A Quiet Place. John Krasinski kicked it out the park with these movies, right? The first two were so much fun. So when we got a day one prequel, yeah, of course I'm going to watch it. This is a quick review. Full review will be within the podcast itself. Get a little bit more insight regarding what was going on there. But let's jump in. It's fun. It was a great movie. Early reviews said it was the best of the series. I don't quite agree. It was definitely up there. It was definitely entertaining. But in this one, we have Joseph Quinn, aka Eddie from Stranger Things, and the greatness that is Lupita Nyong'o, starring this role. Takes place when just the namesake is day one, where Lupita's trying to get from point A to point B, and Joseph Quinn is there for the ride. This one has a lot more, what did I say, jump scares, more time with our alien monsters, but I feel like it's too much of the opposite of what the first ones were. The first ones were suspenseful because you just sat in quietness. This one was a little louder than I was expecting, or probably should have been. Either way, it's a good watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the expansion of this world. I love finding out more and more about what's going on. Actually seeing what happened on that first day, seeing the chaos within a major city when these aliens all fucking dropped in out of hell. This one was not directed by John Krasinski. It was instead directed by Michael Sarnowski, based on a story between both of them that they came up with. But it was a lot of fun, man. If you get a chance to go watch in the theater, watch it while it lasts, because these movies are being thrown out of theaters ASAP much sooner than it should be. I'm hoping that this goes further, but for now, I'm going to give this about a 4 out of 5. There were just some things that were missing for me to give it that full 5 out of 5 review or verdict. Let me know what you thought about the movie down below. Comment, share, like, follow, all of that jazz, please, if you would. Appreciate you. Let's talk about some tarot, as in tarot cards, as in the movie that came out this year. It was this is spoilerific, so again, continue as you please. It's directed by Spencer Cohen, stars Harriet Slater, Aidan Bradley, and Jacob Batalon, aka Ned from Spider-Man series. The synopsis for this is what IMDb says: is when a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with their fate and end up in a race against death. Yeah, man. So basically, they fuck around and find this cursed set of tarot cards. The chick that knows how to read the cards decides to read them, even though she knows she shouldn't. Like, she's straight up just like, "Oh, I'm all about that life, blah blah blah." But she's like, "Oh, they're fucked up. You should touch them." Okay, I'm gonna touch them, and starts reading up tarot cards. And yeah, their fate is sealed from that point forward. One by one, they start getting picked off in really coolish ways. Um, the movie's dumb. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just dumb. It's predictable. It's cliche, but it is fun. So if you like the Final Destination movies, I'd say watch this. If you're looking for some serious horror, this ain't it. Great character designs. The kukuis in this shit look pretty fucking gnarly and cool. There's one scene in particular where one of the characters is stuck inside of a box. So it's like a magic show, and she's the girl in the box, and you're seeing it from the inside perspective of the box. Really, really cool visuals there. Visually looks cool. They got all the tone right, they got colors right, they got the imagery right. But the movie is just like I said, it's just predictable. It's like again, Final Destination and the ways that they get picked off one by one. They're creative, but not like wowing in any which way. Overall, like I enjoyed it. It's not as good as an Abigail. It's not as good as a Barbarian or a Smile. It's just one of those like reminds me of those '90s, early 2000s when a shit ton of horror movies were coming out. You know, where the Final Destination era. Anyway, like it falls in there, but other than that, like it was pretty cliche. Even the ending ends on. They could have had a really cool fucking twist in the ending and kind of changed the whole view of the movie, but they played it safe and did not go that route whatsoever. Uh, all in all, I mean, it was all right. Like I said, it was all right, worth a watch, but you could skip it if you wanted to as well. Like if you just want some kind of bland ass horror movie to watch, cool. Um, if not, don't bother. I'd say I'd give it a 2 out of 5. Yeah, man. Flip a coin. Decide at that point. And now for the news. I'm gonna get like get a chime. Maybe get the glasses put on blazer. I think I'm gonna start doing that from going forward. So there's not too much going on right now, given that San Diego Comic Con just ended, and all our big news stories were centered around that event. Not that doesn't mean that there isn't shit going on, right? Um, Currently, I will go ahead and notify you if you don't know that Superman has wrapped filming. Um, James Gunn production has stopped on the filming side for now, and I'm sure there's going to be some reshoots. There's always some fucking reshoots. It's now going in post production, so the wheels are turning so that we can hit our dates next year for the Man of Steel. And I'm here for it. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to Gunn's vision of the DCU. So far, a taste of it has been awesome between Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. A lot of fun, a lot of comic book vibes, but modernized and adult. Like it's found a good range. Not too serious, not too light. It's found a lot of it is Gunn. Like I've loved Gunn's work since Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like everybody else. Also, in other news, Deadpool and Wolverine has pulled off another motherfucking banger. They have now gone on to pass $824 million worldwide. The movie, the character, no one wanted to invest in until some leaked footage was dropped. Now we have this phenomenal trilogy. And a great stepping stone for the next phase of the Marvel Universe. And look at here, guys. Like, it's everything I thought it was going to make, if not more. It is currently the eighth biggest second weekend of all time, fifth biggest for the MCU. Um, it's shot past The Passion of the Christ to become the biggest R-rated movie in U.S. history. Whoa. And I love how The Passion of the Christ is always brought into the conversation within the movies. It's always been just we're here, Patient Christ, like you know it. You watch the movies, you know what's going on. It's estimated to, I think they're estimating to make 1.2 billion by the time everything's said and done. Globally, that's crazy, man. That is crazy numbers. They have definitely made their placed their hold on the movie industry and their place in history. Wade, I've been with you since '90, man. Dude, I'm so proud of this film series. I'm so proud of this movie. The movie was fucking great. I've been holding off on watching it the second time. I'm going to watch it a third. I'm going to watch it a fourth. I'm going to watch it a 12th. Like, it's going to all happen pretty soon. But it's fucking badass. Props to you, Ryan. Props to you, Hugh. Props to you, MCU. Haiku. Also, in other news, King Crusader has dropped all its episodes on Amazon Prime. Um, I'll get into a full review in the next episode, but essentially 10 episodes. We've got Linklater as Batman, the gorgeous Jamie Chung as Harley Quinn, Dietrich Bader, previous Batman from Batman and Brave and the Bold, is our boy Harvey Dent. Any driver is Oswaldo Cobblepot. So we've got a gender swamp on the Penguin, and it works. It really works. Christina Ricci as Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Great cast. Great cast. 10 episodes are awesome. If you're looking for that nostalgic vibe from the animated series, that's there. If you're looking for something new, that's there. The blend of this show is on point, and I must recommend you watching all 10 episodes. And then I'll tell you why later. And last but not least, July was a great month for some books. I've gone over a handful with you throughout the month. Here are my top hits for July. Blood Hunt, the big event, has come to a close for Marvel. This is essentially where Blade has taken over as a vampire leader and plunged the Marvel universe into darkness. Vampires are taking over. A bunch of our heroes have been converted over to his side. Awesome stuff happened. Mainly the big draw here is Jed McKay's writing and Pepe Larraz's art. He is phenomenal. He is a beast. The shit he puts on here. I would go with the explicit content because I like a little extra blood and a little extra gore. Fun read. That was a great event that actually paid off. Not too gimmicky, but had some actual long lasting effects. From DC, Nightwing has always been a fan favorite of mine. I feel like he's been pretty consistent since New 52 and even before. The writing on his books have been just entertaining, from him losing his memory to Jordan's Spiral, um, to even being there his own version of the Dark Knight. And you happen to see Salem in the background. He's wanted to be on camera, but he didn't, so he's out back there both. But all in all, great reading. And recently, too, specifically this one with Taylor and Redondo. Redondo's art, I mean, the writing's great, but Redondo's art has been fucking awesome and a huge inspiration for me as an artist. But the current run is Fallen Grayson. We're on part 3 of 5. It's their last run together. And here we have Dick essentially framed for murder. And he's out trying to clear his name, but also trying to find himself. So he follows his roots back to his training to, I believe it's the Tibetan Mountains. I'm going blank right now, or it could be Namparat. Don't remember which of the two. Art's been great. While he's on his journey and trying to get his name cleared, our that family is holding down the fort, trying to make sure Bloodhaven's taken care of. And in the most recent episode issue, love this cover, by the way. I think it's the first time, I believe, but Bruce has put on the Nightwing suit to make sure Bloodhaven has a Nightwing, a la Dick always taking over, or Dick's, taking Bruce's spot plenty of times to make sure Gotham's protected whenever Bruce has been out of the picture. And on side note, why can't we have him as a legacy character, guys? Please listen. He was a phenomenal Dark Knight. He was a great Batman. His stories by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely were some of the best Bat stories ever. And I think legacy characters need to happen. I'm tired. I love Bruce, I love Batman, but he's done his his job. It's time to pass on the torch and let's create new stories. Anyway, and that's I think that's what we should do. Anyway, great read. Enjoying it. I can't wait to see how it concludes. Zatanna, Bring Down the House has been fun. It's under the DC Black Label. And this one basically has a young Zatanna, not the powerful sorceress that she is now. Um, I guess coming of age, she gets thrown into a scenario with this demon, and she's starting to get a grasp on, or maybe going to get a grasp of her powers. We don't have it quite yet. We know that she's capable of it from what we've seen so far in the book, but she hasn't been there. She's at this point just a hustling magician doing shows in Vegas. She loves it. It's funny and she's entertaining. She's doing what she likes. It's a really fun book, but the Mariko Tamaki is writing a great story. The main pull for me here, great story aside, is Javier Rodriguez. His art is beautiful. I've loved this guy since, honestly, the one thing that stands out for me is his history of the Marvel Universe. It's such beautiful imagery in those books. It's a miniseries. Check it out if you haven't. He's phenomenal, and he keeps that going on this gorgeous art. Um, Being a fan of the original Image days in the '90s, I've got a soft spot for all those books. Witchblade was one of them, by the great Michael Turner, and um, who wrote that book? Can't remember the writer. Oh, sorry, but we have a reboot of Witchblade that just happened. I like it so far. So far, so good. It's got a lot of the old vibes. They use a lot of the same elements, but they've refreshed them. Our cast has been given an upgrade and update. So far, so good. Issue one shows very promising features. And then from the world of Energon, Transformers has been a banger since day one. Daniel Warren Johnson has written a phenomenal, engaging storybook here. He initially was drawing the first couple of issues, and then he handed over to Jorge Corona, who has been killing it too. Love Jorge. But the books have just been engaging. It's just so engaging. So much drama, tons of actions, tons of action. The Energon universe is fucking fire right now. It really is. Within that universe, we got the G.I. Joe universe starting to condense now. We've had a lot of miniseries like Duke, Cobra Commander, G.I. Joe #1 set to launch pretty soon. In the meantime, we have the Scarlet miniseries going on right now, diving into the Arashikage clan art story. A lot of fun, fast paced, but it's really cool to see the ninja world come into play. We still don't have Snake Eyes yet. We got Storm Shadow. I'm sure Snake Eyes is on the run on the horizon, but it's really cool to see that develop from a different angle. And then Destro also, as the G.I. Joe world is starting to come together. So is Cobra. Um, Seeing Cobra form has been really cool. The art on Destro by Andre Bresson is phenomenal. It's so badass. Dan Waters is writing a great book as well, but this universe is coming together and I'm loving it. And then, last but not least, I love the Ninja Turtles. Their prior series just ended with issue 150. It's got a little bit of a reboot, but not really. Like it's picking up a couple years afterwards now. So we have a new #1 that's launched by Jason Aaron. The first couple of issues are each going to be drawn by a different artist. The first one is Raph centered, drawn by Joel Jones. Beautiful book. It's good. It's really cool. Raph is in jail. Looks like he's undercover, but shit goes sideways. Intriguing stuff. I'm digging it. I've always loved Jason Aaron's books, from his wonky shit to his more streamlined shit. Like it's always been entertaining and fun. And if you just want something that's still centered around the Ninja Turtles, but not really story driven, or you don't have to worry about back canon or anything like that, they've carried on that tradition that all of our publishers have, from DC with Batman Black and White to Marvel and their recent like Deadpool, Black, Red, and all over, or even the Moon Knight. Anyways, Turtles, Black, White, and Green has a bunch of miniseries or little short stories in there, all within the Ninja Turtles world, different canons, different storylines, animated, the IDW movie stuff. But they've been a lot of fun to read. I've been enjoying them so I can get different kind of stories from the turtles without having to rely on a lot of continuity. And the art's been great with each one of these. Again, each story's a different artist. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Check that out also. That's all I got for you right now. That's all the news I got for you right now. Let's see what happens next week, right? Let's just once again, peeps, I appreciate you tuning in and checking out the podcast. It is a work in progress, so any and all feedback is always appreciated. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. All the norms to help me spread my wings and fly. And also, swag still available. The link's in the bio. But get yourself one of these badass shirts designed by Ma and support the show. See you next time. Appreciate you.